Welcome to the YouTube video. Welcome to the YouTube video today. We're going to be watching some stuff, true crime or not. This stuff comes from the reaction channel of my Discord. So if you're not a part of that, please join it and give me some cool videos that you thought were really interesting or something that you think might be interesting. Yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you missed the stream, but I stream almost every day. So make sure you follow me on Twitch and you might be able to watch some of these live, like all these lovely people over here trying to get me demonetized. So play the intro. All right, dude, let's watch this video and let's see why we can't fake our own deaths anymore.
Life sucks. You aren't happy. You're a loser who hates your dead-end job and will never be able to pay off your crippling debt. You're in a loveless relationship with a partner who is probably cheating on you.
Crazy
You're
start.
broken, alone, and trapped in the pathetic mediocrity of your day-to-day existence. Just think about that for a moment.
Where did I go wrong? How do I fix this? What if I could just turn back the clock?
And now ask yourself, what are you gonna do about it? The answer is obvious. Kill yourself. No, that's too permanent. And you don't really have the guts to do it anyways, do you? No, what you want is a hard reset, a second chance at life. So what do? Fake it. What could possibly go wrong? Meet Ryan Borgwardt, a 44-year-old father of 3, an unhappily married man of 22
What a start,
years. Well, unhappily married Ryan decided to abandon his family and start a new life in Eastern Europe with a woman that he met online from Uzbekistan. After attending church one Sunday in 2024, Ryan traveled 50 miles to Green Lake, Wisconsin for what would appear to be an impromptu fishing trip. Provisioned with his phone, wallet, fishing gear, and an inflatable raft. This was gonna be easy. Step 1, discard his cell phone into the water's depths. Step 2, inflate the raft. Step 3, overturn the kayak. It all made perfect sense. It would appear as though he drowned into the darkness of the lake's 200+ feet of water.
Right.
But using the float to swim back to shore, Ryan began his commute up to Canada before taking a series of international flights to meet up with his overseas girlfriend. Too easy, he probably thought. I'm so close to being balls deep in Uzbekistani hole. But Ryan's plan was terribly flawed, and the 54-day search that followed failed to recover his body. Suspicious, investigators performed a forensic examination of his laptop, provided by his wife, discovering that his hard drive had been swapped and his browsing history wiped the day of his disappearance.
Not weird
and if that wasn't revealing enough, he had taken out a $375,000 life insurance policy earlier that year, as well as obtaining a new passport just 3 months before disappearing.
Very smart.
Which was flagged by the authorities at the Canadian border.
Very smart.
Within just 4 months of his vanishing, Ryan was tracked down in Europe and convinced to return to the US to face his punishment. The final verdict? 89 days in jail for the 89 days he was missing, plus a $30,000 fine to cover the cost of the search and rescue. This is just one case of a failed fake death that we'll be discussing on today's program.
Why are we stripping?
One that exemplifies several mistakes that are commonly made. Mistakes that, by the end of this episode, you will know how to avoid. Becoming invisible isn't easy, but it is possible.
What's happening?
And today, I'm gonna teach you how on the Rusty Cage Show.
This is crazy. I love it.
Konnichiwa. Shinda forio stemimasen ka Nihon de wa koryo johatsu torimasu.
What?
A Japanese term referring to individuals who quietly vanish from their lives, leaving behind
When did I turn
no
on the
trace.
dub?
You see, for the Japanese,
There's Japanese
quitting your
captions
job can be
afterwards
seen as
now.
a shameful act.
What is
while
happening?
Simply evaporating from existence is a common alternative. And while the practice of johatsu might be kawaii when the Japanese do it, the act of faking one's own disappearance, often through the form of a false death, is a worldwide practice referred to as
This guy's style is so fire.
pseudocide. Why, you ask? To escape the societal pitfalls of the human condition. Debts you can't pay, stuck in a relationship or family you hate, fear of retaliation from someone looking to do you harm. I would bet that right now, most of you are thinking of a problem in your life that would be resolved if everyone thought that you were dead. Mr. X certainly had those thoughts. Jerry Balisok, aka Mr. X, began his professional wrestling career in 1974 as a jobber, a wrestling term for someone whose job it is to intentionally lose to more popular performers. But Jerry had bigger plans outside of the ring,
Bet rigging.
namely avoiding being caught for the 13 fraudulent checks he wrote in order to buy motorcycle parts while performing on a wrestling tour in the Caribbean.
Donald Trump's mugshot.
Each false check
I can't
carrying
fake my
a
death
potential
anymore. The woke liberals ruin faking deaths. It upsets me deeply, folks.
10-year prison sentence. Now, fearing a lengthy prison term, Jerry decided to go on the run, stealing his wife's second cousin's birth certificate, driver's license, and social security card. Now assuming his new stolen identity as Ricky Allen Weta, the family fled to the Bahamas before eventually relocating in Seattle. The year is now 1978, and having failed to show up for his fraudulent check trials in Alabama, the FBI began tracking him down, first through Alabama and eventually the Caribbeans, where they were met with a dead end. He was nowhere to be found, but the hunt continued. Fortunately for Jerry, over 900 men, women, and children had just drank lethal doses of cyanide in a mass murder-suicide event orchestrated by the religious cult leader Jim Jones, in what would infamously be known as the Jonestown Massacre. This tragedy was heavily covered by publications like Time magazine, who published horrific images of the hundreds of bodies sprawled across the ground in the remote settlement of Guyana, South America. Well, for some very odd reason, Jerry Balisok's own mother contacted the U.S. State Department, claiming that she believed that 3 of the bodies photographed were that of her son, his wife, and their young child. Now, why she said this? Unknown. Maybe to cash in on an insurance policy. Maybe to mislead the FBI. But either way, the bodies were far too decomposed by that point to even validate her claim, leading her to...
This guy's crazy. 55,000 subs only? I don't even have to watch. I'm subbing. I don't even have to watch the rest of this. This guy's awesome.
In frustration, have a tombstone laid in Jerry's name, bearing the inscription, "Damn the State Department." But Jerry was in fact not dead. However, the search to find him
because he has his mom to do it.
Due to the lack of success locating him, the FBI called off the manhunt, and all of his fraudulent check charges were dropped under the belief that he was, in fact, deceased. Now living in Seattle, unaware that he was no longer being hunted, Jerry continued his life of crime under his false
shoots
identity,
himself in the foot, doesn't he?
making money through real estate, where he had paid a man to burn down one of his hotels in order to collect the insurance money. The fire, however, was quickly ruled as an arson, leading Jerry to shoot the arsonist that he had hired in hopes of removing any links between himself and the arson. Unfortunately for Jerry, the man lived. And after crime scene fingerprints were taken, his identity was exposed. Balisok was captured and served 13 and a half.
Trying to remove the connection with the criminal by attacking the criminal and creating a new connection. Right. Okay. I can see where the wires are crossed and make no sense. That's good. Classic.
Half years of a 20-year
Maybe he's playing chess and I'm playing checkers, dude.
And dying of a heart attack. A very happy ending for Mr. X, for the most part. He got lucky. But not everyone will be fortunate enough to have a massive cult suicide event occur to cover their tracks. But attracting too much attention after dying isn't always bad. Sometimes it can be very beneficial. For instance, many now famous historical figures gained their popularity after their deaths. The avant-garde painter Vincent van Gogh, writers Franz Kafka, Emily Dickinson, and H.P. Lovecraft, musical acts like Jeff Buckley and Sublime, Their massive success and worldwide recognition came after they ceased to be alive.
Somebody fakes
a
their death
compelling
to try to do
argument
that.
to any failed creators out there struggling to make a name for themselves. I mean, just fake it until you make it. But while that might make sense to those who wish for their legacy to outlive themselves, for a fugitive in hiding, drawing attention to yourself after pseudocide is the worst possible thing that you could do.
Right.
Final argument.
This is like a 90s show. Like he's literally, I love this vibe, dude. He's literally like advertising, like the ad, like the literal like break of him showing the show and shit. That's literally like a 90s cartoon. That's so awesome.
Arguments were heard today in the conspiracy
This guy's
trial of
phenomenal.
State Senator David Friedland and his father Jacob. The case now goes to the jury.
In 1979, former New Jersey State Senator David Friedland was indicted for accepting $360,000 in bribes after arranging a $4 million loan from a Teamsters Union pension fund into companies tied to a corrupt businessman.
In a business operated by a Barry Marlin of Los Angeles. The government claims the Friedlands forced Marlin to pay a kickback in return for getting that pension money.
This was an incredibly illegal conflict of interest, which left Friedland facing a potential 7-year prison sentence, with no other options than to do what any honest politician would do, himself, but for fake. While supposedly scuba diving in the Bahamas, Friedland failed to resurface. The incident was called leading to a Coast Guard search which suspiciously recovered no drowned body, resulting in an arrest warrant being quickly issued.
Right.
After assuming a false identity with a fake passport, Friedland fled to the Maldives, where he started a new career operating a successful scuba diving business.
Right.
A little too successful. Now, high profile is the last thing that you want when trying to lay low, but high profile was exactly the lifestyle that Friedland was living. Having pictures of himself featured on promotional business postcards, feeding sharks, smiling for the camera, apparently trying to draw the attention of the international policing organization Interpol, which is exactly what he did.
If Mr. Friedland is watching, I would only say to him that I think he is an intelligent enough human being to recognize the fact that it is in his interest to surrender himself.
Leading to his arrest and extradition to the United States to face a prison sentence of 15 years.
I'll say.
He only ended up serving 9.
Pop quiz. What's something that you should never do when trying not to get caught faking your death in a scuba diving accident? I'll give you a hint. It's fucking obvious.
If you said start a successful scuba diving business, well, congratulations. You are smarter than David Friedland.
Bro?
Shameless, overconfident hubris. Idiot. In fact, you should avoid anything that could reveal your identity. What are you, trying to get caught? I mean, not you, because obviously you would never need to put any of this information into practical use. But if for some reason you did, let me just break down the nature of modern day surveillance and just how easy it is to be spotted and recognized.
Just absolute YouTube premium.
You are being watched. Every second of the day, with or without your consent. Every time you look at a smartphone or a computer screen, the front-facing camera, an infrared sensor maps out your face, verifying your identity. Your fingerprints are scanned. GPS tracking, Wi-Fi, and cellular tower triangulation pinpoints your exact location. These devices know exactly what you're looking at, how long you're engaged in what you're looking at, and even have an unsettling understanding of your biometric data, fine-tuned enough to recognize the inconsistencies in your footstep symmetry. It's fucking creepy as shit.
That is creepy.
But this is our current reality. Okay, so smash your iPhone, destroy your smartwatch,
Don't matter,
and never look at a webcam again.
Don't matter.
But you're still being watched. Every time you walk through any medium-sized metropolitan area, CCTV cameras, drone surveillance, and AI-powered face recognition monitoring is watching your every move.
We've all heard about those smart glasses, but did you know there was a way to use the glasses to learn personal information about strangers just by looking at them.
Even seemingly innocuous bus stop ads have cameras now. They don't just look at you, they recognize you, linking your face to an internal database where it can be used to find your social media accounts, photos you're tagged in, or even other surveillance footage taken of you. And that information is readily available to any law enforcement, government agencies, or private investigators who have access to that database.
Or any
The
company
facial
that pays
recognition
for it.
software attempts to match people's faces with billions of images scraped off social media websites and shares them with security agencies.
Wonton Tat says he wants you and the general public to trust him.
Right now we have, billions and billions of images from millions of different websites all across the open internet.
This is what Clearview AI's database would look like to law enforcement, says founder Wonton Tat, if, for example, they were searching for me.
Listen to me. If you don't want to be traced, avoid any traceable devices. No more using a cell phone containing personal information. Nothing that requires a password, facial recognition, or fingerprint scanning to unlock. Nothing with a phone number connected to a payment account linked to your identity. Honestly, I would avoid using any phone with a camera that can't be disconnected or a battery that can't be removed. And same goes with any personal computer. Everything has to be a burner device. Prepaid minutes on a simple flip phone purchased with cash.
There's no way that this is an ad.
A burner device's position can easily be found as it pings to cellular towers, knowing your exact location and when and where it
they'd have to know the idea of that
Every
phone.
phone, even when the screen is off, it's screaming in the air, saying, here I am, here I am. Where is this phone with this phone
No,
number
this can't be
in the
unique to the
world?
video, right?
Right
This
now.
has got to be just something
and the fist of surveillance is
Guys, that's just something Edward Snowden put out there, right? There's no way this guy got Edward Snowden to just be a part of this video, right? I haven't seen stuff like that, like interview footage of him like that. There's no way. I mean, what a better person to talk about getting the best guy for the job, really.
Tightening each day, with platforms and new laws requiring you to provide photo ID before accessing websites, so that it will eventually become nearly impossible to use the internet
to prove you're
without
not
first
a minor,
verifying your
by
identity.
the way.
Your digital footprint will no longer be something dug up by internet detectives in order to cancel you after being exposed that you said the N-word in a group chat 7 years ago. Now, your entire digital identity will have to be verified. You did that? And all of your monitored activity throughout your day-to-day life will be compiled into a profile of you in order to not just have records of what you have already been doing, but to analyze your habits in order to predict what you will do. It's not like back in the old days where people could just disappear, wear a hat, and give out a fake name in order to start a new life. You are always being watched. So the next time that you see an advertisement on your screen,
good for me.
Just remember, that advertisement
is this a Nord sponsor?
Sees you.
We see you. Athletes. Investment bankers.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Arthur Knight.
Nicholas Alahverdian, aka Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight, gained notability as a child welfare advocate, claiming to have suffered abuse.
I've definitely
during his
seen him
time
before,
within
and I
Rhode
don't know
Island's
why.
Department of Children, Youth, and Families.
I've definitely seen him with that breathalyzer on. I don't know why.
Homes where he says he
Isn't the thing like not needed or something? I recognize him, and I don't know why.
Bag for the other kids. Every day you were beaten.
Every day in Florida, every day in Nebraska, every day in Rhode Island.
Being the brave survivor that he was, Alahverdian utilized his experience with early life trauma to engage with local media and politicians in order to push for reforms in the child welfare system. The problem with Nicholas, however, was that he was a con man and a sex offender, stemming from a 2008 case where, while attending community college in Ohio, Alahverdian lured a young female student into a stairwell, pinned her against a wall, and Louis C.K'd himself in front of her. And despite her protest, Nicholas was purported to have proclaimed, "I'm almost done, don't be a fucking bitch." And this was just one of several rape and sexual assault allegations filed against him.
Brother.
The other problem with Nicholas was that the FBI was investigating him for failing to register as a sex offender while living back in Rhode Island, along with accumulating around $200,000 in debt by fraudulently opening 22 credit cards in his foster father's name.
From day one, when I adopted him and his brother and sister,
this guy's
he
a
was
vibe.
trouble.
Now, an honest man would have done the honorable thing. But Nicholas was built different and decided to go into hiding, escaping the country and attempting to mask his whereabouts by leaving false breadcrumbs.
That's
telling
crazy.
his lawyer that he moved to Ireland.
That's fucking crazy,
telling
bro.
the local Rhode Island newspaper that he moved to Canada. And having someone claiming to be his so-called widow seed false reports to the media that he had fallen ill and died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
His passing is a very, very sad incident for us, and may you rest in peace, Nicholas.
A suspiciously convenient end to the story of a man being investigated by the FBI for multiple legal charges. Convenient, but not at all convincing. Internet sleuths exposed that his Wikipedia article had been altered after his supposed death by an account linked to Alahverdian himself in order to update his life status, remove any information disputing the legitimacy of his death, as well as changing out pictures of himself with someone else entirely. He was alive, and everyone knew it. But what they didn't know was where in the world is Nicholas Alahverdian? He was in a hospital in Scotland. Now hold on, I know what you're thinking. Scotland? Don't they have enough insane criminals already? The answer is yes, but now they had one too many. You see, the year is now 2020, and a global pandemic is trending. And fortunately, Nicholas Alahverdian, who is now living under the false name of Arthur Knight, contracted COVID. Whether he was actually suffering severe enough symptoms to legitimately
I remember
land him in the
seeing this
hospital,
guy with his
or if
face
this was
breather
a
on.
part of another one of his cons is unknown. But what was known was that a wanted criminal from the US named Nicholas Alahverdian was on the run in a foreign country, and that this fugitive looked an awful lot like the hospitalized man named Arthur Knight.
The couple invited me into their Glasgow home and insisted Arthur was still suffering from long COVID and that this was all a case of mistaken identity.
And after discrepancies in his false identity were revealed through fingerprint analysis, as well as a recognizable tattoo,
this is fascinating.
Nicholas was arrested and extradited back to the US, where he was found guilty of sexual.
Where's
46 month what we watching.
Where is that chain?
React, Andy.
Where is that chain to?
Fingerprint and extradited back.
What is he chained? Like his one arm?
To the US, where he was found guilty of sexual assault and rape.
We will ask you to find the defendant, Nicholas Alahverdian, guilty of rape.
His sentence has yet to be determined. The point that this case exemplifies
That's
is
ridiculous.
how with modern technology and international cooperative policing, even if you manage to escape the country, you can still be identified. But I think you get the point. Faking your death is not easy. Or so that's how it would appear when analyzing cases in which people were caught. But it is quite possible and probable that people do successfully, intentionally disappear all the time. It doesn't take magic. And if you know what to avoid, anyone can become invisible.
Behold, it is I, the great Downwardo! For years, I have traveled the world, studying the powers of mystics from the Orient. I learned the arts of their many celestial sorceries.
We've got a second character.
Astral projection, and the greatest of all the sacred powers, invisibility. I can feel that someone in this room has the impulse to disappear. Perhaps a hedge fund manager, a pharmaceutical executive, a serial rapist, anyone. Yes, you, sir. Come join me on stage. And what is your name, sir?
Rusty.
And why do you want to disappear?
I said the N-word in a Discord group chat.
Very good. Let's give Rusty a round of applause. Now,
Bro.
Rusty, becoming invisible is no easy
What is going
task.
on with this video,
Sacrifices
dude?
have to be made.
This is so
Your entire
chaotic.
life will be altered to keep your new identity a secret. Are you willing to sacrifice?
Everything.
I see you have tattoos, Rusty. Well, if you don't want to be recognized, tattoos must disappear. Vanishing!
Real.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen,
Real.
no tattoos.
That's gore.
But you still look like you, Rusty.
That's gore of
Your
my comfort
head
character.
And facial hair are the same. Your clothes are the same. Your face looks like
Really
you.
bad editing on his arms is killing me, bro.
None of this will do.
So unserious.
Mutatio!
Always smell the pussy first.
I can barely recognize him. Of course, colored contacts would be ideal, but this show is on a budget. And speaking of money, Rusty, what is your preferred form of currency?
MasterCard. Of course.
You fucking idiot! Don't you realize that all your financial records are recorded? Pay in cash only. From now on, forever.
Jesus
No bank accounts. No lines of credit in your real name.
Holy fuck.
Cash only.
That was crazy.
In fact, don't do anything financially that could trigger suspicion.
fucking
Do
idiot.
not empty your bank account or transfer money to foreign accounts.
Let me see that slap again.
Card. Of course.
You fucking idiot! Don't you form of currency?
MasterCard. Of course.
You fucking idiot! Don't you realize?
You fucking idiot!
Cash.
Actually, that could trigger. In fact, don't do anything financially
treat
that
this
could
is,
trigger
bro.
suspicion. Do not empty your bank account or transfer money to foreign accounts unless done slowly in small amounts over the course of a long period of time. If you want to sell stocks, do not do it anytime close to your disappearance. And absolutely do not take out life insurance policies. From now on, you gotta work under the table. Something like construction, landscaping, or prostitution.
But what about my family?
Will I ever see them again?
Ah! Absolutely not. If you're running from the law, expect that all communications with people in your former life are being monitored. Letters in the mail, emails, texts, phone calls.
He's under the table, bro.
And don't do anything on social media. Understood? Magnifico! Burn your driver's license.
Okay.
Shed your birth certificate.
Brother is sweaty.
Abandon your former identity, for you have no use for it now. Bah! Oh.
Wait, is this even legal? Kinda. Depends. It's technically not illegal in the US to not own a driver's license or identification cards of any sort, unless you're doing specific activities such as driving, buying age-restricted products, flying commercially, voting, or entering federal buildings. However, many states do have stop and identify laws, allowing police to require that you identify yourself if they believe that there is reasonable suspicion that you have committed a crime, are in the act of committing a crime, or are about to commit a crime. But the police can, and often do, conveniently interpret reasonable suspicion of a crime to include loitering or prowling, which could be suspected of basically anyone in public without any evidence at all. But in most cases, stop and identify only requires that you provide a name rather than a physical ID. Birth certificates. While legally required for newborns to have one registered to them, it's not illegal if you later just don't have it anymore. Though without one, it could become very difficult to prove that you are a legal citizen. Social security cards. It is not illegal to not have a physical card. So, unless you are doing so to avoid capture from a crime, doing so in a way that is a crime, such as misleading authorities in a false search and rescue mission to recover your body, then it is technically not illegal to fake your own death. Though it should be emphasized that life will become quite difficult, as your options for employment, travel, and many other common activities in modern society will be greatly limited. Essentially, you become a ghost, but it's not impossible. Living off-grid is always an option. If you can find the right employer who hates dealing with taxes, doesn't ask a lot of questions, and is willing to pay in cash, then you're in luck. All right, stop. Because let's be real. Surveillance technology is advancing insanely fast, and the world in which you can somewhat live anonymously is dying. The options to even pay in cash at all is disappearing at an alarming rate as governments start to push things like central bank digital currencies. And when they finally enforce that, cash will become obsolete altogether.
Basically,
leaving the only option for transactions to be digital.
I mean, there's plenty of places where I've seen that they don't do cash at all. Like they literally have a sign that says no cash because they don't want to deal with it. Because it's not very often you have the exact amount of cash on you. Not often. So you typically need change, and if less people do it, which is very common now, you might not have that change. So it's basically already happening.
Digital currencies tied to a digital ID, verified through methods such as scanning your fingerprints or the iris of your eye.
Yeah, we already got rid of pennies.
So just keep in mind that what I'm saying in this video could all be antiquated within a few months.
07.
But the question still remains, should you fake your death? It all depends on your situation. If you're attempting to evade the law, or if you owe a lot of money to someone willing to hunt you down, it is technically possible to do, but growing harder and harder every day as technology progresses and individual privacy dwindles. If you just want to start a new life and leave without a trace, as long as your record is clean and you're willing to make the lifestyle sacrifices, that decision is up to you. But just know that by doing so, you could be causing great emotional damage and unnecessary stress to friends and loved ones. Listen, there are plenty of legitimate reasons why someone would want to take this route of pseudocide. But who am I to judge? It's your life. Do what you want with it. That being said, let's lighten the mood a little bit. I thank you all for watching. And now, here's a song.
A song? What?
If I were to die today, I wouldn't see tomorrow. I would not hear all the cries of everybody's sorrow. If I were to guess, it'd be a mess, and everyone would scream before they took a day or two to forget about me. But I'm already dead inside, and that's okay with me.
What is going on?
One day I may feel alive in time soon to be. And if and when my time should come and I should be done for, don't you cry, we all will die and then be nevermore. Dirt and dust, blood
this is
and
crazy.
Dust buried in the ground. This is where I hope to be when I'm no more around. Fuck it, just leave me on the side of the road and let the crows and vultures pick the meat off of my bones. 'Cause I'm already dead inside and that's okay with me. One day I may feel alive in time soon to be. And when that old grim reaper comes knocking at my door, I'll say hello and let him in and then be nevermore. I'll say hello and let him in and then be nevermore.
Dude, like what? This guy's nuts. This guy's crazy. What the hell? What an absolute cinematic channel. What the fuck? That was like stunningly good. What the hell?